Let's talk about guest posts, but in two ways. First, accepting guest posts on your site is a really great way to get more content that you didn't actually have to write, and it can also be a way of building a relationship with other bloggers. So how do you get guest bloggers to want to post on your site? Well, you have to first and foremost let people know that you're open to accepting guest posts from them. So one of the ways that you can do this, and to make it super obvious to your visitors, at least when you're getting started allowing guest posts, is to create a dedicated page on your site asking for guest posts and giving folks criteria for when they want to submit a guest post. Also, make it crystal clear how they should go about submitting a guest post. You can link to this guest post how-to page from your homepage so that it's visible to every visitor who comes to your site and encourage response that way. So let's take a look at two example pages that other bloggers have put together so that you can see how they treat a call for guest posts kind of page. So this is ProBlogger's site, and it's his page on guidelines and suggestions for submitting a guest post to ProBlogger. So let's take a look at some of the things that he would like so that you can get some ideas of the criteria that you may or may not want to consider when creating your own how to submit a guest post page for your site. So he says that before the submission is sent, please make sure that it conveys quality, practical advice, that it's exclusive to his site, that it includes all of the information like links and text and images that you want published, that it infringes no copyright laws, that's a big one, and that it includes a headline, body text, your byline, and an image. And then he goes into greater detail for what kind of topics they're looking for on the site, that it does need to be exclusive, that how to actually format it and deal with the HTML and the images and things that he would like to use. He also lets folks know that the post may be edited, and if that's something that you plan on doing, it's a good idea to let folks know that you may edit a thing or two on their post. Also, your byline, you should include in your guest post criteria what you will allow in your byline. Some folks might try to squeeze in 6 links to their various web properties, and that's not a good idea. It's probably not really relevant to all of your site visitors, so ask people to include maybe 1 or 2 links, something like that. So that's ProBlogger's look at how he likes guest posts done. So let's take a look at another page here. This is from the I Will Teach You to Be Rich blog. And he gives some of his own criteria. So we're looking at this just to give you kind of 2 different perspectives on what this page can look like and the different kinds of criteria. So first he talks about how guest posting has been beneficial to his own site promotion. And this is a really good idea if you do have personal experience with guest posting and the results that it has brought you, to explain that to folks. So when they visit your guest posting page, they can see and hear your story about why that was valuable to you, and that might encourage them to do it and submit to your site. So then he goes into what he's looking for. Original content that tells my readers something new, that's the most important factor. And I like what he did with that, in that he's kind of telling you not only what he's looking for, but what is the most important of those things that he's looking for. And that's something that you might want to consider in your guest post page. You've got 10 criteria perhaps, but what is the one really standout thing that you must have? He also asks that any posts that are backed up by research and not just your opinion. So another thing that you may want to consider is that you may not want to use your site, and there can be circumstances where this is okay, but this is up to you. You may not want to use your site as a platform for other people to voice their opinions, to kind of do their opinion post or op-ed kind of thing, because you may want to keep your site as your platform for that kind of post. So if you need to consider which way you want to go with that. If somebody has a complete opposing view to you, would you still publish their post? Again, up to you, depends on the goals of your site, but possibly something to consider when you're creating your guest post page. He also goes into common mistakes that people make when submitting a guest post, writing it before they pitch him. See, ProBlogger just wants the guest post to be submitted via his contact form. Whereas I Will Teach You to Be Rich says no, he wants a pitch first. And that's something that you should consider. Which would you like? Me personally, I like to just get the whole guest post at once. I don't want to go through a back and forth email process of a pitch and then getting it and realizing that the person really sucks at writing, or that it's really just a keyword stuffing, link bait kind of thing, stuff like that. So I really just prefer to see the whole post, but that's up to you, of course, which way you would like to do it. So pick one and let your folks know. Not doing your research is another common mistake. Not sending writing samples. Again, writing samples are going to be irrelevant if you ask people just to submit the entire post all at once. Submitting trite link bait, limiting your guest posts in your domain. He's saying my site isn't just about personal finance, it's about entrepreneurship, optimization, life hacking, etc. So just like in ProBlogger, where he spoke about up here the topics that they're particularly interested in, it isn't just on ProBlogger how to make money from your blog. He also talks about SEO and design and social media. And here, his site isn't just about personal finance, it's about these other things as well. So if your site is about backpacking, it might also be about some other elements of that particular niche. And you can let people know that you're interested in those kinds of posts as well. No link bait, including affiliate links. Obviously, you definitely don't want to do that. He gives steps to writing a guest post. He gives the results of effective guest posts and specific must-dos for guest posts and how to write. So this is a really comprehensive page that he has created here. It's a good model that you can use. Between the two, you'll have tons of ideas on how you exactly want to structure your, hey, submit a guest post page, and encourage folks to do that on your site. The second way that you can consider guest posting as beneficial to your site and as part of building your reputation as a market leader is by submitting guest posts to other sites within your niche. You'll usually get a backlink by doing so at the least, and on the more popular sites, you also get some new visitors to your site, people who liked what you wrote and want to hear from you or hear more from you. So submitting guest posts is good for you for those reasons, but it'll also give you some content for your own site. Even if you can't republish the content that you wrote for the guest post on your own site because it's supposed to be exclusive to them, you can absolutely publish an announcement post on your site letting your readers know that you've got a guest post on the other site and include a link. Don't ever be afraid to send people off of your site as long as you're sending them to something good. And my assumption is that if you spent the time to create a guest post for somebody, that you made a good post for them. It's a good idea to have some sort of killer content on your own site the day that the guest post gets published, particularly on a more popular site, so that when people read that guest post and then they click through to find out more about you and they go to your site, they arrive at another piece of compelling content from you. You really don't want them to get to your site and find something stale and old. When submitting a guest post, just like you've created a page on your site with info on the requirements for your guest posts, make sure that you follow the requirements of the blogs you're submitting to. If they don't have a page dedicated to telling you what they are looking for, here are some pretty safe assumptions. They're going to want you to have proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation, right? Duh. They don't want to have to be your editor in that way. And while, of course, most of the sites will look over your stuff and check for those kind of things, you should really do the work up front for them. They're also going to, most of the time, want it to be original content. They don't want the same article that you've submitted in 20 other places, because really that's just an effort in link building and it isn't providing any specific value to their blog. They're going to want you to support your statements. If you are saying that the next Droid phone is going to be the iPhone killer, why? Why is that? What specific things about it are going to change the industry in the way that you think it will? So support the things that you're saying with quotes or charts or data or statistics in some way. Never, ever, ever use affiliate links. That's super spammy. And also stay on topic. Whatever the blog is about, don't try to bring readers on a tomato growing blog into rose growing, right? So stay on topic, and that doesn't mean like we looked at ProBlogger, whose site isn't only about making money blogging, but it also goes into SEO and social media. It doesn't mean that you can't go into some of the subtopics that the site deals with, but Don't try to bring readers from an unrelated site to your site by an argument about how great your topic is as opposed to their topic. Stick with what they're interested in, because that's why they're coming there. And most of the time on a guest post, of course, you'll have the opportunity to put in an author's box or a resource box. So that should include a short about you, and it should also include a link to your site. So let's take a look at some of the ways that you can find places that are open to guest posts. So first, there's the obvious. There's going to be blogs that you already know about in your niche. Those blogs that you like and admire, and whose audience, or at least a portion of their audience, you think would be a match for your site. So the most obvious place to go first is doing a Google search. And here I've searched for backpacking guest posts. And what I'm seeing here is a bunch of guest posts on other sites from people that are about backpacking. So here's a guest post on Adventures with Dan on backpacking in Australia. Here's a guest post on Top Finance blog and about backpacking around the United States. Here's a guest post about backpacking from backpackingmatt.com about life's journey budget travel blog. Meredith's first backpacking trip to Kids in the Woods from Kids in the Woods, so on and so forth. So even in a niche like this that isn't in one of the typically incestuous guest posting famous niches like internet marketing or social media or even personal finance, there's lots of guest posting going on. And so just do a Google search in your niche. Most of the time when there is a guest post, they'll indicate that either in the title of the post or in the body of the post somewhere. So you should be able to find quite a few places where you can guest post just by doing a Google search like this. Now, another place where you can find opportunities to guest post is myblogguest.com. That's where we are right now. It's a free membership. I believe that there's some kind of upgraded membership. I don't know what that is because from what I've seen, everything that you need is in the free membership. So let me sign in. There's a forum where you can find people who are looking for a guest author, looking for a blog to post on, that kind of thing. But I like to use the search function. Let's do a search for lifestyle in any country. We'll search by articles posted because that'll let us know that the blog is actually active on this network. And here's a bunch of different travel, car warranties, buying for baby, but a bunch of different lifestyle sites that have accepted 68 here, 51 here, 47 here, 45 here, different guest posts from other folks out there. So you can also sort by blog power, and this is sort of like their ranking about how active these sites are. But as you can see, some of the most active aren't necessarily, or haven't anyway, accepted any articles. So instead, go with the articles posted, and you can find places in your niche that are accepting and actively looking for guest posts. And you could submit your stuff there. And what better place to go than a place that you know is very much wanting to publish guest posts from people. When you're starting out or looking to expand your visibility in the marketplace, people might not be finding you as much as you'd like. Guest blogging is the perfect opportunity to take the initiative and reach out to other interested folks in your marketplace who might not know about you yet and bring them into your circle of influence.